I went to take a shower. I spent the night alone. I wasn't expecting guests. It was dark everywhere in the apartment, so I left the light on only in my room. I left the door to my room. Open too. I never closed the door to my room, except when I went to bed. After taking a shower, I wrapped a towel around myself. Came out of the bathroom and saw that the door to my bedroom was closed and the gap between the door and the floor was dark. Everywhere else in the apartment was similarly unlit. I stared at the door, stubbornly unsure of what was wrong. I knew for a fact that I'd left the light on in the room and hadn't locked the room. I never locked the bedroom or turned off the lights when I showered at all. No one was supposed to be home. I didn't hear anyone coming back. Without leaving the bathroom, I called out to my parents. No one answered. The apartment was quiet. I felt uneasy. I had to go into the room, but what should I do? With my heart pounding, I slowly walked to the door, slowly pushed on the handle, and opened the door ajar. Fumbling for the light switch, I pressed and swung the door open sharply. There was no one in the room. Everything was as it had been before. Bed on the bed, windows covered with thin tully. I breathed heavily, sat down on the edge of the bed, remembering that maybe I had just forgotten, and turned off the light and closed the room myself. I'd never done that. I wasn't in the habit. Taking a breath, I looked around. My gaze fell on the angel figurine on the shelf. I didn't notice it at once. I had already averted my eyes, but then suddenly I realized it and looked at the statue again. The angel, which had always stood and looked straight ahead, was now turned to face the bedroom door. I muttered, "I don't get it," and got up to go over and put the angel upright. But as I stood up, I came across a mouse figurine on the table and froze. The mouse was also turned face toward the door. I looked at the angel again, then again at the mouse, and then my eyes fell on the doll sitting near the books. She had been sitting upright too, facing the bed, but now she was turned toward the door. I ran my eyes around the room, noticing again and again that the doggy, the other angel, or the stuffed hedgehog were turned toward the door. All the figurines in the room, all the dolls, all the stuffed toys, everything that had eyes was looking at the door. Even the photo frames had the faces of the people in the photo turned toward the bedroom door. I was afraid to go to bed, covering myself with a blanket. And then it became quite bad. The light went out, which I thoughtfully did not turn off. I got goosebumps on my back. The room was completely dark. I began to reassure myself that it was just a coincidence. Then something happened that I remembered for the rest of my life. I heard a child's laughter, the quiet laughter of a girl in her room, and towards me. I heard something that sounded like baby steps. I screamed. I jumped out of bed and ran in the dark towards the door, but it wasn't to be. I fumbled for a mirrored surface in place of the door, so it's an old trellis, but it should be facing the door. I turned around and ran the other way. Now, I was more scared than I'd ever been in my life. I was just shaking. The laughter intensified. I started hitting the wall in a fit of animal fear. I don't know how long it went on, but there was a clink of glass. The light stabbed my eyes. Somehow, I managed to fall out into the hallway. Without looking back, I ran to the front door, but then the lock clicked and my aunt and uncle came in, almost knocking them down. I rushed to them and fainted. I haven't slept well since then, and I've been seeing that girl everywhere. But tonight is a special night, and I can finally get some sleep. Thanks for reading my story, friend. Because right now, that little bitch is right behind you. Turn around, say hello to her,